Do you need to email your list of reports again? I'm okay. It wasn't one that came out later. It was a weird one midday. I don't know what I got on my phone. Seizures. Oh, no. I got a weird email midday. You should be getting an email in the mornings, but this one was like weird. I think I was trying to do it.
No, I already did too.
Weird, that's exactly. Maybe, someone had one transcript on it. Oh, yeah. You see that thing on? Can't work. You do it 20 minutes on, 40 minutes off. The arbitrator's not. But we don't count. Right, so clearly, it's not that big of a deal. You're right. They're gonna let us out there in 2 hours.
Oh, you did, okay. But there were 2.5.
Yeah, they hadn't made that bigger until they made the form.
No, they just goes, I haven't seen it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's something like this would happen.
We don't even know. We don't even know. I know, I'm trying to think.
You can click on it, you dive into it.
What did I do? Yeah, it was Thursday.
Other
Yeah.
places have this.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's one of the hot states. Minnesota, we have our. We're used to viewers and that.
Yeah.
It's enough money there, so it's almost one of the. Last year, this was. I don't know what's wrong with this one. This one's it's the complication, but it is easier. Should I do a different complication? This is a non-patient. Okay.
I thought you did.
Yeah.
I think it depends on how you should care.
No.
Oh, yeah.
I don't even have to say that. I got it right now. Actually, I do. I got a picture of the driver's license.
No, that just says.
Well, it's really well.
Yeah, we just walked
To
up.
leave this. Yes. Yeah, it's.
Have a good day.
Oh, for a Monday, coming back from vacation,
Yeah.
getting into the swing of things. Yeah.
Back. You were gone for a week.
for Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Oh, about 8, 9 days.
Okay.
Very nice.
You okay?
Yeah. Oh, how about you? How's your day going?
Oh, it did allowed some, because I don't work on Mondays, so I had to clean out things that I don't get around to. But it was hot for me. It made me feel miserable. I was still feeling.
It's just, I know, I can't do things like I used to at all.
Not really, it's just, once everything's done, it's not the weird thing is. You know, notification, trying.
Yeah.
It would have been more if we didn't have a fire engine sitting in the shop, Yeah.
Did you pick up your packet? No, I okay. Thank you. So one is just send it to us. The budget was moving under me.
They should have said, so they should send it before that. We have to see the budget's name to adjust.
27%.
Hey guys.
Hello.
Yeah, is there another way we can get insurance?
It's gotta be through the state.
Why is it have to be the state?
Because that's the way we do it.
So the state forces us.
It's probably cheaper than.
They force us to use the product and then they raise the price of the state. It's not like the monopoly.
State is in law.
You're right.
Hi.
How are you guys?
You doing okay?
Been busy. Silly busy. They didn't act. Oh, yeah. They take, you guys, the trailers and the houses.
So it is, like, says we were making it be safer to take, yeah, even fire engine after, take it on. Yeah, all to the front, it's all of it.
All of the
Across
across
the
the
bridge.
Let's do that.
This phone.
I mean, we can. I think it's wise that we just bring it up, but I don't. That way, if there's any amendments that need to be made, but I think we're okay. Because we should be good with. Yeah, it's not necessarily applicable. So
Yeah. They didn't define it, so. Or,
why did we turn that?
So the Yeah, you know, well, I went on to look at the buses, and some of them had posted some officials, and others, you
And that
know.
was only, yeah. Everything else is, you know,
There was 30.
Hard copies.
Yeah. Nice to get some.
Oh,
I'm a little tired.
Not at all. Is there anything else for me?
Glad to see you.
Yeah, these days.
Just curious.
All right, everybody. Today is Monday, June 9th, 2025. The time is now 6 o'clock in the evening. We are here at the Mesilla Town Hall in the boardroom for our regularly scheduled Board of Trustees meeting. Our first order of business is the Pledge of Allegiance. If you'll please stand.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Next order of business is roll call and determination of a quorum. Gloria, if you would please. Present.
Present.
Here, trustee Nevada.
Present.
Thank you very much. And Trustee Cadena did tell me that she would be out today and not able to attend the meeting. So next item on the agenda is approval and changes to the agenda.
So moved.
Second.
Motion on the floor by Mayor Pro Tem Merrick, seconded by Trustee Nevadas. And unless there's discussion or objection, the motion will carry with unanimous consent. Thank you very much for approval of the agenda as it has been presented. Next item on the agenda is approval of the consent agenda, which does include the BOT minutes for May 27th, 2025 for our regular board meeting.
So moved.
Second.
Motion on the floor by Mayor Pro Tem Merrick, seconded by Trustee Johnson Burek. And unless there's discussion or objection, the motion will carry with unanimous consent. Thank you for approval of our consent agenda, which does include the BOT meeting minutes of May 27th, 2025. Next item on the agenda is a presentation by our South Central Regional Transit District.
All right, I presume I need to be here. The podium. My name is Kirk Scott. I'm a consultant working with SCRTD on an update to their long-range plan, which we did for them about 4 years ago. But they made a lot of changes in a kind of a rapid fashion, and so they felt like their plan needed to be updated. So that's what we're doing, and we're doing a public outreach and stakeholder outreach effort to get input on, what to do going forward with SCRTD. So I've got some slides here, and where do I point? So talk a little bit about current services and some ideas for improvements to services. Let's see here.
I'll help you out because it's.
Oh, okay. Well, I could probably get it, but I don't know where to shoot it. Okay. There you go. So SCRTD operates in a 4-county area right now, but actually most of it is in the 3 counties of El Paso, Dona Ana, and Sierra counties, and right on the border of Otero County. There's 8 routes. They're connector routes. They connect all the way from El Paso up through Truth or Consequences, Elephant Butte. It's about a 120-mile linear service area, and connects not only the routes it has, but other services like Sun Metro and Roadrunner. It's really a interconnection between a lot of routes. It's very, it's just very useful to people given the way it operates. And you can see the 8 routes there that are operated. I'm going to get this down. So starting from south to north, the yellow route does operate. I would just want to briefly talk about, you may be familiar with the routes, you may not be, but the yellow route operates from the downtown transfer center, connecting with some metro routes and the trolley down there into Sunland Park. And it's a very heavy route. The Sunland Park area is a very transit dependent area, and that makes for a very strong bus ridership. In Sunland Park, it also connects at City Hall there with the silver route that goes out to the West Side Transfer Center, connecting again with some metro services. The purple route is the third route out of Sunland Park, and it operates from there on up to Anthony. So that people can get from downtown El Paso to Sunland Park to Anthony. And in Anthony, you can connect to the turquoise route, which is the next one. I think you're going to have to connect these up. That operates over to Chaparral and down to Sun Metro, the Northgate Transfer Center, with again Sun Metro and a very long route, a 2-hour round trip out of Anthony. And then there's a third route out of Anthony is the red route that operates on up to Mesilla Valley Intermodal Transfer Terminal with Roadrunner services and of course Las Cruces. Go ahead, next. The copper route, which is probably the one you may be most interested in, operates from the town hall here up, what was that, Main Street into the Roadrunner Transfer Terminal and then over and up to Donana Place, north of Las Cruces. Okay, go on. And then the third route out of Las Cruces, starting in New Mexico State, is the green route, which operates on the east side of Las Cruces and then on up to Hatch, where it connects to the last route and the newest route, which is the blue route. The copper route was the newest route when it was added about 4 years ago, about the time when we did the study. Now the blue route has been added. And surprisingly, another very transit-dependent area that it operates in up in Elephant Butte and Truth of Consequences. So with that, switch to the next slide. Remember, so there, again, there's the route layout. It can provide, you can connect, you can get from downtown El Paso up to Las Cruces in a little over a couple of hours, which is not bad for local transit service. It's a little more challenging getting up to the green and on up to the blue. But those are all things we're looking at as we do the study. Next slide, please. Okay, I broke out some of the recent ridership, and you can see all the routes are increasing. The yellow route is a fully urban route, heavy. It's like 25 passengers per hour all day, 7 days a week. So that one stands out because it really has full, New York style or demand type public transit ridership. But the other routes, if you can go to the next slide, I broke them out, took the yellow out, and you can see all the routes are increasing in ridership. You go, and you might look at that chart and go, well, the copper route is lagging. If you look at from 21 to 24, the blue route is that dot there, started in August of 24. But if you go on to the next slide, you'll see the copper again being that brown. That's as close to copper as I could get. You'll see it's approaching now the other routes. As of the last time point or ridership point I have there, on a riders per hour of service, it's coming up and meeting the green and the red and the purple and the turquoise that have been operating a lot longer. So that's encouraging. And even the blue route, again, a surprisingly very transit dependent area, has jumped right up and had really good ridership. So, in combination urban rural routes like that, the 3 to 6 passengers per hour is reasonable. If you can, that's a goal to aim for. And you can see the silver route is already there, and the other routes I think are well on their way to approaching that. So if you can go on next slide, so as we look at decision points for the 10-year plan, questions are, where should services be operated? Are the current service locations good, or they need to change? How often should the buses run? Obviously, the more that the buses are, the more frequent the service, the better. But I mean, it's a challenge because you only have so much equipment and you can only pay for so much service. And then what other services should be offered? If you go to the next slide. This is hard to see, but that's Las Cruces area, and those polygon shapes are thoughts about where neighborhood circulator or feeder routes, microtransit could operate in and around Las Cruces, which of course includes Mesilla, right down there in the south. And that is something that SCRTD is actively working to try to obtain funding for. Okay. And the same thing in Sutherland Park on the west side and around the industrial areas. Okay. So other questions are how best to connect to other transit providers. You have Sun Metro, which has a lot of service, obviously. So that's where the interconnections and the ability to provide connecting services is so valuable. And there's other providers. There's El Paso Rural Transit. There's still state, the gold and silver New Mexico Department of Transportation routes. They come in from White Sands into Las Cruces and then down to El Paso. What SCRTD has done a great job, in my opinion, of upgrading their vehicles. They started out with getting vehicles wherever they could, and slowly but surely they've added vehicles. They've had branding now to where the vehicles are very bright with the yellow picture color, and they really stand out, which helps to people to know. One of the real challenges with transit is people even knowing they see the bus go by, but it doesn't register. What's going on there? So having that branding is very important. And then improvements to bus stops and shelters and transfer points and all that to match the branding is very important too. So we have printed surveys. I don't know if it's too applicable to me, but I'll leave those. I mean, I'm going to stick around in case there's any questions afterwards. But we have those. We also have a nifty QR code English or Spanish survey that people. It's like a 14 question survey. It takes about 5 minutes to go through, and you can answer the questions and provide input into the survey. That's what we're trying to do, and we're in the middle of that process, and we'll look forward to there. So I'll open it up to any questions that anybody has or comments or input. Glad to listen to what you have.
Trustees? Yep.
I had a question. Sometimes I get asked about transportation to the airport. Are there any plans or on the present system, can you reasonably get to the airport in a reasonable time so you can catch a plane?
It has been mentioned that, hey, it would be great to have service from the Las Cruces area down to the airport. The airport's always a significant destination. And SCRTD would be the logical choice to do something like that. I mean, I think the real challenge here, when you look at like the yellow route, you can make a really good argument that the yellow route could use double the amount of service it has. Right now it has, I didn't talk about that, it has an hour and 15-minute service on a route that's carrying 25 to 35 passengers per hour. And the turquoise route runs once every 2 hours. Again, once hourly is always better, but it's a pull and tug for what you can afford and what you can do. Yeah. When we had a meeting in Chaparral, they said, the service is great, but we need a neighborhood circulator service here too. And I know you all probably feel similar, that would be great to have in Mesilla. So that's the challenge and something that we're working on, is looking at the various needs and priorities and trying to figure out the best way to go. Yeah, go ahead.
I had a question about I guess, because I'm not familiar. What is the average cost or the cost for individuals using the service?
It is very, very inexpensive, which is essentially free. The service went no free fare during COVID. During the pandemic, and it just kept to that. It's part of the reason why the increase in ridership is not the only reason. Typically, transit systems find that free fare does bump up service the demand a little bit, but that's not really the primary factor. The primary factor is the usability of the service, the attractiveness. That's way more important. than any other thing. But anyway, yeah, right now it's free riding.
It's a free ride, so all people have to do is show up at the
Right, yes.
pickup point.
Yeah, and one of the key things, people can be afraid, I don't want to go to a different, the hardest thing in a different city or even country is figuring out how to pay the fare. That's always the hardest thing. So free fare could be very helpful for that standpoint.
I think I just want to note that sitting on the board, I think it's great that, we're also looking at the buses that are EV and the electronic buses and doing that side, and then upgrading some of our current shelters as well, and going through that review process for that. So I think that's a great deal that we have going on through the transit district.
Yeah, there are quite a few battery electric buses, also quite a few hybrid buses. These hybrids that both of which have been performing extremely well, and they're very, again, they're very high catch and help make it sure. I think also any of the improvements along the routes not only make it more comfortable for people catching the bus, but also it's just an advertisement for the fact that the bus goes there. But it's a process to get to, the ultimate system you want to get to.
Perfect. Trustees, any other questions or comments? No? Thank you very much for your time. We appreciate that presentation. Thank you so much. Get out of that one. Kick these guys off. All right, next item on the agenda is public input on cases for this evening, where the public is invited to address the board on the cases that are being heard this evening. So if there's any input, please step to the podium and state your name for the record. Okay. Seeing as there is none, we'll move into our next item, which is for action.
Susan.
Susan, sorry, Susan, I didn't see you. Get up there. Great. Thank you, Ms. Kruger. Any other public comment? You can if you want. Now would be the time if you're going to. Yeah.
Mayor's trustees, I just wanted to address your.
Just name for the record. That way we have it. No.
I just wanted to address a little bit on the proclamation for route restrictions, which we are fully in support of. I'm sure that Chief and I have spoken several times, well, emailed my wife. And the only thing we were going to ask is to amend it to allow firecrackers as we did in 2021 and issues. And the reason for that is that there are most of the assortments, so it makes it very difficult to slice the plastic cover and reseal correctly. What we also do in exchange for that is we pull out some of the parachutes and we pull out the sky napkins, which she told me I hated. I'm not sure how. I'm sure Greg would like to either. I feel much more of a hazard than the firecrackers as far as fires. So we would just, that's all we're asking is to amend it. And I'm sure Chief will take care of that. But I want to thank the city again and your support.
Great. Thank you, Mr. Nevadas. Any other public comment? Okay, seeing as there is none, we'll move into our next item for action and consideration under new business. For discussion only, review of the 410 work week and schedule. So I wanted to bring this forward just for discussion only and in thought two kind of options and in thinking of always looking at work schedules for the entire town, availability of the town, and trying to save money and create enlightenment as well for our residents. So I have two options as kind of ideas, and of course open to any other ideas. In this 410 schedule is a request, a common request throughout the team as well, just in minor discussions here and there. In option one, as you see, as it's been presented to you, is to keep the town open Monday through Friday, giving everyone an additional day off. We'd stagger the employees' schedules similar to this. Team A, which would consist of, like in the finance department, if we were looking at it, two team members working Monday through Thursday, 2 10-hour days, having Friday off. Team B, which would be a separate set of team members working Tuesday through Friday, 10 hours a day, and having Monday off. And then if we needed to have a second team or a third team in there, we would look at that and alternate that in there as some extra availability. But we would be looking at the potential of extending town hall hours of operation and actually having town hall open between 7 and 7:30 and actually close between 5:30 and 6 if we were to do that, to allow more opportunity for our residents to actually come to get services, pay for billing, do whatever necessary needs may be necessary for our residents as a whole. At the same time, as you see in this mock schedule that I kind of put together here, it would also allow the opportunity for the team members to not just have the potential of a 3-day weekend per se in there, but it would actually be a 4-day weekend a couple times per month in the way that the staggering of the scheduling would potentially work. And this type of schedule does ensure that the town is fully staffed all 5 days, and this still gives the team members a minimum of 3 days off per week, just as a thought in that. And then, of course, we would still maintain all of our on-call schedule, overnight schedule, so on and so forth with everybody else that as it pertains to those departments. The second option is the thought of a fixed schedule with the town hall closed on one specific day. So that if the town would close on one weekday and have that fixed 410 schedule, it may look like all staff working Monday through Friday or Monday through Thursday, 10-hour days there again, with its staggered opening at 7 a.m., closing at 6 p.m., and then Fridays being closed completely. If we were looking at this, we'd be looking at more operational efficiencies in doing this, mainly by having reduced operating costs, that being the electricity, water, HVAC, so on and so forth, with the town hall being closed an additional day. We would still have the increased productivity and the availability to our residents before the normal operating hours and after the operating hours. And I think just in thought, before I move into open discussion on this, just in thought, as well as with the presentation that you just had, as people that might be riding a bus and taking that as the bus leaves in this area as early as 7:30, if they have the opportunity to go and pay their bill before town hall opens, and we open at 7 o'clock, and before they hop on the bus, or even as they're getting home, as we saw that last bus arriving in the area at 5:30, that gives the opportunity for them to come in and pay their bill at that point in time as well. So just in thought and theory, and just extending services to our residents and the availability of that. The Friday option I did kind of throw in there because we have noticed that on not every Friday, but certain Fridays, it's kind of a ghost town for the most part around the building as a whole. I think it was one day I literally told Gloria as we were sitting there, and it was about 2:30, 3 o'clock in the afternoon, and I said that I haven't heard the bell go off at all once today, and we didn't have Jacob in the front, so everybody else was helping to cover the front, and of course, right as I said that, the bell goes off, but that's the nature of the beast sometimes. But I just wanted to throw that out there, open a good, fruitful discussion with the Board of Trustees to gain your thoughts and feedback on this proposal, if you will. So I'll open it up for questions or any discussion. Trustee?
Yes, I have a few questions. So both exempt and non-exempt employees would be available to both. How many employees does the town have?
I'd have to look at it overall. I don't know that off the top of my head.
Right.
So
I just-
we're at a little over 25
Okay.
right now for sure. So
I was curious, was there a survey of the workforce to kind of indicate, a real survey, not just discussions here and there, but was there a survey done of the employees to see how they,
no, sir.
which preference? I guess on these schedules, all operations would be available for people coming in for different things, paying bills, getting permits, doing that. And how would this work? I guess there would be no conflict with the court, on the operating days, right? So,
Right.
okay. What if an employee wanted, because of childcare or other family obligations, et cetera, if they needed to have the more traditional work schedule, would the alternative schedules be available to them?
Of course, I think it's always great that we have reasonable accommodations for all of our team.
All right. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Trustee.
Mayor, so I would be more amenable to the first option because again, we are providing a public service. We are public service employees. We need to be available to the public. Plus closing on a Friday, an option 2 would also impact any visitors that come to our town. They wouldn't be able to access, again, the visitor center, and we really count on that tourism revenue. So this would just be for civilian staff, correct?
Yes.
Civilian staff. And then what our board packets, in option 1, it's not an issue. Option 2, would our board packets and agendas be available to the trustees and to the residents on Thursday?
We would have to have that for sure.
And you're extending the hours, so I don't know that the utilities would be that impacted. And in option 1, staff is still getting 3 days off. And again, that's why we have vacation available. And again, we're here to serve the public. So I would support the split schedule. Thank you.
Thank you, Trustee.
I think it's important that we really look at this because a lot of our employees in general, we're a very small staff, are here 7 to 6 anyhow. I know Gloria's here early in the morning and leaves late at night and is closing down. I know the mayor's here beyond hours. So I think this kind of helps us knock out more town business during the day when people need us. Just the community in general, because it's hard to come during the day with everybody working. I understand the town being open for Friday because of tourism, like Trustee Johnson Burek said. I just think that's a little hard when we have a split schedule. Just because if someone is looking for a certain person and isn't in there, we're not going to have their schedule posted. Kind of like, okay, well, this is what Gloria's schedule is. This is when I need to go see her kind of thing. So I think if it's a little bit more consistent, it would be easier and we'd never have to really search, or a resident wouldn't have to kind of figure out when a certain employee that they may need at that time is available. Because I know finance has several employees, but other areas don't have a few employees that could answer all the questions they needed answered, like community development per se. Other than that, I think it's a good idea, just as far as being able to be available to people in hours that they can come rather than working hours.
Thank you, trustees, for the feedback. Any other discussion or thoughts? So
I had just a small follow-up question. So if either one of these is adopted and would there, and it may not be working out, the way it was planned to be, is there options to review it or perhaps, return to the original schedule? I mean, it's not written in stone that this is,
right,
okay.
I think that would be viable. And definitely, most definitely the option there. And I think we would be looking at working with each and every department and the department heads for those departments to ensure that there is adequate coverage, even in option one, all across the board. I think that's the general consensus and plan, regardless of that, unless of course we have somebody that takes vacation during that time. Then of course for the smaller departments that might pose an issue. But a lot of the times there's other people that can also step in to answer generalized questions or to gather necessary information. So.
And in regards to that questions, because if we develop FAQs, frequently asked questions, that might take care of the small questions that sometimes people come in to inquire about.
Right.
I mean, and so if an effort was made to do that, and they would be online or be available in different formats, I think that will alleviate having to have a person here to answer a really minor question or to provide minor information.
Great. Thank you, trustees. Next item on the agenda for discussion only is a wireless telecommunication ordinance change. And in this, I did provide you it's really just for you to kind of get an idea, to have the suggested changes as it's gone through in here through an ad hoc that was with Trustee Nevadas and running that and following through. This has gone through planning and zoning with discussion by planning and zoning. I have not had legal review it yet because I wanted to get generalized trustee and board feedback before we have legal fully review it. So I wanted to give you plenty of time in having the ordinance as it was suggested in here by the ad hoc committee, as well as the changes by the planning and zoning commission on there. So there's just only discussion only today. If you have any discussion, really there's a lot of verbiage change in it, and it's big. So it's going to take time to fully review and anticipate that. That's why I wanted to do that and hand it out with plenty of time for that. And then to also follow up on any necessary questions, continue discussion review before looking at the potential of adoption, if you will. So any generalized questions right now?
I guess when I was reviewing this on page 3, letter C, number 5, the innovative camouflaging techniques such as murals. So we're actually, I'm just concerned that we're going to allow someone, how is the conception of a mural gonna stand out above, say, an orchard of trees? That doesn't just, there's gonna be artwork in the sky. So I don't know that that's very conceivable. I can see it surrounding the base of the tower, but not so much as it elevates upward.
I don't. Eddie, if you have feedback, because I know you were in some of those meetings, and then of course
yeah.
Trustee Nevadas
Yeah.
might be able to answer on that too.
Yes, good evening, Mayor, trustees. Regarding the murals, the reason why they came up is because our current situation with the wireless communication tower being broke down right now, that's being going to be screened to the water tower. They asked about was how to do some type of mural on the water tower itself, so that it will make it more appealing. That's why I said whether.
I think artwork was the word that was used with the tower.
I'm sorry, say again?
I thought it was artwork, the word that was used for this tower that was going to be.
There's not, it's my understanding there's not gonna be anything on the tower.
I don't know what the latest
Yeah,
is.
there's not gonna be anything on the water tower, but they are being proposed in case the ice situation, but something like that does occur again, that the town has the ability, at least, the ability to be able to put, welcome to Mesilla or historic zone or something like that. Sense. Not so much a mural as a drawing or painting, but just again, the ability to be able to put some type of words or maybe a painting or whatever.
Maybe artwork would be the more appropriate verbiage.
Okay.
And I would agree, because a mural kind of gives you a different depiction of what it would be. So
Yeah, I wasn't involved in a lot of these meetings that they were having, the discussion that we had, because there was a lot of residents from the community during our PNC meeting that they make a lot of comments regarding some of the questions that the commission was having.
And the last question, because I know that there's the highlights in blue that were included, is the green font, this just additional verbiage that was included.
Yes, correct. The green font, as you look at the front page there, it says black, red, green, or blue. The green font is PNZ edits. One of the things we also discussed, if you look at page 13, the very last, which is letter N, it says view corridors. It's mentioned in our current code. It's also mentioned in proposed in this one. And it states view corridors are defined as an area identified either in Mesilla Comprehensive Plan or by the federal or state agency as location of a particular designated scenic or cultural resource or trail system as an area for which the WTF, Wireless Telecommunication Facility, can be seen. So view corridors are not, we have view corridors, but they haven't been adopted by the Board of Trustees. There's one thing that the Planning and Zoning did request, that there is these are suggested ones, so we have there now, but obviously those can be edited, but they are suggested that the Board of Trustees do pass a resolution to establish what those view corridors are.
Now, I guess my last comment is that a lot of work has gone into this, extensive work. So thanks to P&Z, Trustee Navarez, for all of your help in this. So.
A lot of the residents as well, they did. Yeah.
Oh, yeah,
They-
the committee. The committee. I
committee.
meant to add that. Planning and zoning and the committee. Yes, thank you. So that's all I have, Mayor. Thank you.
Thank you, Trustee. Trustees, any other initial comments
No.
in review? No?
Yeah, on page 15, so it says local publication of record, which is Las Cruces Bulletin. Do we have to put in the Las Cruces Bulletin and Sun News? Can't we just leave it? as publication? Because what if that changes?
I'm sorry, you're talking about page 15 as far as where the hearings and notices are posted?
Yeah.
One of the residents, this is a template or almost a replica of one of the water telecommunication ordinances on another municipality. And in those, some of the videos that were, passed forwarded to us, and some of the discussion that he had or their investigation or their attorney had was there needed to be a specific, for legal purposes, a specific outline, either, some news that's going to be our main circulation of notifications. And if we can't get to, similar to what we do the postings, if our online website is down, we're going to use our Facebook account to be able to notify. So there's got to be a specific agency or publication to be able to, for the residents to know where to go look for them,
And we
instead
just
of trying to guess where
we
what we
just
be.
keep that updated if it were to change. We just keep that. We just update that if that were
Sure.
to say that company name changes.
Okay.
We could add a general provision or any other publication in use at the time, because there are other publications throughout the area that,
Yeah.
we don't have them here at Town Hall, but other places have. The county building has some publications from around the area.
Okay. Sure.
To have a general catch-all, so you're not stuck with just the specific ones that are named here.
Correct.
Right, thank you.
I agree.
Anything else right this moment, trustees? My intention is to, I think that the recommendation by Ms. Kruger a little earlier in having a review by the Municipal League is not a bad idea, since I worked on it originally, before we have our attorneys look at it as well. So I'll send it to the Municipal League and have them give us a review on the overall as well, because it is a really true in-depth with a lot of change from the original ordinance as it was originally presented and proposed. So I'll have them review it. I'll bring it back again at the next meeting for further discussion. That way we can continue a discussion. You all can dive deep down into it as well. And I need the opportunity to dive down into it as well as yourselves. So that way we can be fully versed in it as it has been presented. So that's the intent there before we look at the potential of codification on that. Any other questions? Nope. Thank you, Mr. Salazar. I appreciate that. Next item on the agenda is approval of proclamation 2025 for severe or extreme drought conditions.
So moved.
Second.
Motion on the floor by Mayor Pro Tem Merrick, second by Trustee Johnson Burek. I will open it up for discussion. Mr. Fire Chief, if you would, please.
One thing I caught in the proclamation, section 2, you have is prohibited within the unincorporated areas of Grant County.
No. That's me. Because I got it from our attorneys. They're the ones that provided it to us. Not Grant. Good catch, trustee. Thank you. Because they're doing the exact same thing in Grant County. So that's
Right. Well, yeah. 'Cause
obviously, right?
And I'd actually like to make an amendment to the proclamation to allow for firecrackers that Mr. Nevadas had brought up.
Yes. So we would be striking firecrackers from section 2 in there.
Okay.
Is it in that one?
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
Fire, including chasers and firecrackers.
The original from the state says ground potable devices and they don't define what that is.
Yeah.
Because of that, I don't think we do anything about the firecrackers. I don't think they're a problem.
Okay.
Right, because of the way that this state they define what a firecracker is, but it's not in the thing that we can ban.
Okay, so we're okay.
So we're
I
striking.
really have fun with those firecrackers, teasing my husband. Just
So-
kidding, because I'm an animal lover, so I.
I was gonna say, well,
And like we discussed before, 2 weeks ago, we're making the suggestion now. right?
Now, so if we need to change it.
Always reduce its restrictiveness as the cold rain comes in. We're
Right.
still in a severe drought. We have to go down out of this level to the next level and still one more. We did drop a little bit with the last little bit of rain, but it wasn't enough to take us out of where we are. So. levels to go down, I hope that's gonna happen. Be optimistic and hope it does because I don't think it does.
That's all I had, Mayor.
So are we striking that out?
yeah, so there's an amendment, motion for amendment on the floor to strike the wording of including chasers and firecrackers, and then to change the last verbiage of unincorporated areas of the town of Mesilla,
Second.
or within the bounds of the town of Mesilla. Oh my gosh. Russ, what are you doing here? All right, so motion on the floor by Trustee Johnson Burek, seconded by Mayor Pro Tem Merrick. Is there any other discussion on the noted changes to the proclamation? Gloria, if we can have a roll call vote on that amendment.
Mayor Pro Tem Mary,
Yes.
trustee Johnson Burek,
Yes,
trustee Nevadas,
Yes.
roll call is 3 yes.
Great, thank you very much. And we'll go back to the original motion. Further discussion. I would like to say that there was a discussion that the fire chief and I just want to bring it up as the potential there, and that be that the way that this works is that, you know, the proclamation is for restrictions and doing restrictions, and that's the whole point of doing and having the board fully provide the restrictions on there. But one of the things that I would that in discussion with the fire chief that I would like the board to consider is maybe a deal where the restriction, because as of the way that this is written and the way that it reads, is that if in order for us to lift the restriction, we would have to have a subsequent proclamation issued by the town. So call a special meeting in order to lift the restriction, as that is if we have the fire conditions, which, I mean, it could be 2 days prior to that we receive heavy rainfall, and we won't have the opportunity to do that. So with that in thought, in lifting the restriction, or where we're not restricting down on it, that maybe the authority be given to the fire chief and the mayor with that oversight and overview of that restriction being lifted if the conditions are met. That way we don't have to call a special meeting in order to lift that restriction and have the full meeting. Right.
They drop us down to moderate or whatever. And I think we can with the restrictions, and we just put out a message last on Facebook. Saying restrictions. I didn't get to see the proclamation there. Does it still allow the displays?
Yes.
Is that
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. That was struck from there.
Oklahoma City and county, and they're not banning any displays either, because displays are usually probably the safest thing that happens.
Yeah.
Except for people really.
Well,
The general public and the grass and trees is the safest thing.
Yeah.
Mr. Mayor, can I get some clarification from the proclamation, allowing firecrackers and chasers?
Chasers.
Chasers.
Can you clarify that a little bit again?
We leave it as it is with as it's done in the state statute, which does define the sale and use of missile type rockets, helicopters, aerial spinners, stick type rockets, and ground audible devices.
Thank you.
So the question, I guess, that I had to you all
Oh,
is just if we have the potential of looking at the decision for lifting restrictions coming from the mayor and fire chief.
I think that's fine. I think the guidelines are clear. There's no leeway or it's a strict number. So I don't think it's an issue. If we hit that number, that's fine. Or
Okay.
hit that level.
Mayor?
I just had, I mean, just something for thought, but in addition to those two individuals, could you have a member of the board be involved in that, or?
That's what you all would like to see, most definitely. Why don't we do this? Let's make a formal motion, or I'll make the formal motion for an amendment to have the subsequent proclamation issued by the mayor, the fire chief, and a single member of the board of trustees
That'd be more representative, I think, of
Yes.
the governing
in
body.
determination
Yeah.
of that. So I have that motion on the floor.
I'll second that.
Motion on the floor by Mayor Hernandez, seconded by Mayor Pro Tem Merrick for a second amendment to the proclamation. Any further discussion? Seeing as there is none, Gloria, if you'll roll call vote, please, on the second amendment.
Yes.
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 Great. Thank you very much for approval of that second amendment. Any other further discussion on this proclamation? Seeing as there is none, we have the original motion on the floor by Mayor Pro Tem Merrick, seconded by Trustee Johnson Burek, with two amendments for verbiage changes on Section 2, and then Section 6 having the subsequent proclamation being issued by alternates. And if there is no further discussion, Gloria, if you would roll call vote, please.
Yes.
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 Great. Thank you very much for approval of that proclamation as it has been amended for 2025 severe or extreme drought conditions. Next item on the agenda is approval of resolution 2025-38 for our arts and culture ordinance.
So moved.
Second.
Motion on the floor by Mayor Pro Tem Merrick, seconded by Trustee Johnson Burek. And I will open it up for discussion. And I did provide this to you. I'm sorry that it was not in your packet. The attorney did not have the opportunity to review the ordinance fully before I went out on vacation and last week. So that's why it was not included in your packet. But they had the changes in here, just a few changes that were under the general general requirements, and it was primarily in verbiage as it was just to protect the town, and that was the limit. To avoid, where we have the change to avoid obscenity, defamation, or the content that incites imminent lawless action. That was a recommended change, and then any sign or display is limited to 10 feet in height. It's just a change in verbiage to meet requirements versus other states other case law that has arisen because of other issues, if you will. Is there any other discussion?
Did I sleep through the motion?
What's that? You seconded the motion.
Okay, I guess I did. I'm going to blame it on the heat and coming back from vacation.
I hear you on that.
Yeah.
Any other discussion on the ordinance as it's been presented? Motion on the floor by Mayor Pro Tem Merrick, seconded by Trustee Johnson Burek. Gloria, if we can have a roll call vote, please.
Yes.
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 Great. Thank you very much for approval of Resolution 2025-38 for our arts and culture ordinance. I see Mary Helen here. It's been a process, right? So here we go. Next on the agenda is approval of Resolution 25-39 for solid waste fees.
So moved.
Second.
Motion on the floor by Mayor Pro Tem Merrick, seconded by Trustee Johnson Burek. And I will open it up for discussion. This one was, just as I brought it to your attention at the last meeting, it is an adjustment to the fees because we did have an increase in our solid waste fees. So I have a chart here on the back of the proclamation that shows 2024 fees and then the 2025 fees. That does include the increase in the base rate and then the 3% COLA added on top of that as it has been in the past and in other resolution. So new rates increasing just a little over $1, as you can see across the board. Is there any other questions or discussion? Seeing as there is not, motion on the floor by Mayor Pro Tem Merrick, seconded by Trustee Johnson Burek. Gloria, if you can roll call, please.
Yes.
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 Great. Thank you very much for approval of Resolution 2025-39 for our solid waste fees. Next item on the agenda is approval of purchase requisition for Alf Southwest concerning well number 1 repair in the amount of $12,217.30.
So moved.
Second.
Motion on the floor by Mayor Pro Tem Merrick, seconded by Trustee Johnson Burek. And I will open it up for discussion. I just want to say that what you typically see with these purchase requisitions is they're normally under the consent agenda. This one is specifically under the action and consideration because I wanted to have a little bit more just discussion and clarification on this. We had one of our wells, one of our 2 wells, because we have well 1 and well 2, but well 1 went down completely and has some issues. So that's what we're doing here is having this company's coming out. They'll actually be out tomorrow and doing a scope on it and determining what the issues are. This is the fee just to do the necessary inspections to see what's going on there. We're knocking on wood that hopefully we do not need a full well replacement, but that might be a possibility that we would be looking at. So we will cross that road when we get there with the full inspection as this is being completed. I just wanted to keep you all apprised of that, though. Any other discussion? Motion on the floor by Mayor Pro Tem Merrick, seconded by Trustee Johnson Burek. Roll call vote, please, Gloria, if you would.
Yes.
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 Great. Thank you very much for approval of the purchase requisition for Alf Southwest. Next item on the agenda is approval for our NMTD co-op agreement for the New Mexico Tourism Department in the amount of $23,278, and then the town of Mesilla match in the amount of $11,638 for a total value of $34,914.
So moved.
Second.
Motion on the floor by Mayor Pro Tem Merrick, seconded by Trustee Johnson Burek. And I will open it up for discussion. And this is the co-op grant that Dorothy had submitted and that we do every year with specifics, and it's broken out on the last page there showing the package that we were doing with a video production as well as a social media package with crowdsourcing. And it does have a little bit of flex money in there as well. So some good things. Any other discussion? Seeing as there is none, motion on the floor by Mayor Pro Tem Merrick, seconded by Trustee Johnson Burek. Gloria, if you would roll call vote, please.
Yes.
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 Thank you very much for approval of our New Mexico Department of Tourism co-op agreement. Next item on the agenda is public input. This is where the public is invited to the podium to give any other input for the evening. There is any.
I know I've talked to Lorenzo about this. The drains on Calle de San Albino, the odor is just unbearable. I know you're aware of that, but I've had people stop me on the plaza that have been walking or biking and have asked why that smells so badly. And I know, Lorenzo, you said something about the grates being welded. Somebody told me that maybe they could be washed out. I know it from La Posta, Chalas, I think it's restaurants. I'm just hoping that we can get that resolved because there's 3 of them that I can specifically, that I walk by.
Thank you, Ms. Ricci. That will be addressed by Lorenzo here in a little bit as well. Some good news on that front. Any other public comment? Okay, seeing as there is none, we'll move into our next order of business, which is Board of Trustees staff and staff comments. Oh, we didn't have committee reports. Go. It's all right. We included in the staff or in your trustee comments if you have any committee reports, if you would please. Sorry. First up, Mr. Marshall.
Our IFAC kits came in today that we ordered. Our body armor, we're still waiting for the outer carriers and the new body armor to ship. And my 2 LiDARs that you guys approved purchase of should be here by the end of the month. Sergeant Hernandez and Deputy Lopez participated in the Fish for the Cop community event held at Young Park this past Saturday. Took a lot of pictures, said it went really well. We know what we need for next year's event. Ride with Grace event happened Saturday. That also went smoothly, even though we had to go to Plan B because of the construction still for the community center, but no issues there. SROs, Boylston and Cogdale are in Santa Fe for SRO, basic SRO training put on by NMDPS. They did that all last week. And this week they're finishing up the advanced SRO training, which was free to all departments. The state covered the cost on that. And then I will be in Santa Fe. I'll leave tomorrow after the other meeting, but I'll be there Wednesday and Thursday for work meetings at NFDPS regarding training and some other issues that they're having up there now that their leaders, the chiefs of police through the municipal league wants us all. Can't think of anything else. No major issues. I know fires and the talk about stuff happened this week as well as talk about that. All our cameras are up on the plaza and our building and are working fine. We've utilized them a couple times for some issues. And I'll stand for any questions.
Thank you, sir. Fire Chief.
But you know what? I did have a question.
Sure.
Sorry, Marshall.
Trustee.
Hey, are we going to bring your intern to a board meeting?
I'll get up there.
Just a thought.
Uh-oh.
Thanks, Marshall.
Uh-oh. Fire Chief.
Mayor and board, right, those times. Yes, so we had a lot of people in training, that all went really well. We test results for the classes that we took. They were available. The Saturday was a pretty busy day. We were going to try and do the right race thing and said we had a gas main hit on Rote, and we had 3 people we rescued from the county and city out of the river after that. So gas line safety call before you dig, although we did, that was a different conversation. And river safety reminders for everybody. So, they got caught up against a dam of wood. It wasn't bad, but it was a dam between two islands. So when they tried to get out, they were getting pulled under. So they called for help, and with plenty of help, and got them out. That went really well. Other, I don't know if they want to take this one good or bad, but the AMR, American Medical Rescue, has sent out a message to all other people that they are not going to continue pursuing the contract, which we already told them we weren't going to accept them pursuing the contract. So it was a, it was mutually happy agreement. So there's a lot of parts that are moving around so that the fire service can cover the ambulance response. In the long run, I think it's best for the citizens. We're not a profit-driven, for good or bad, we're not a profit-driven entity. So we can spend time with people, whereas profit-driven entities have to walk in, well, you don't need, want to go in the ambulance, so take signage refusal. We will spend 30 minutes, an hour, 2 hours signing people up for community connectors and finding other resources to help them. So I think in the long run, it's best for the community that this happens. And on a really positive note, the window tent was put in the fire station last week. A huge difference in how the station feels. Just so much cooler and more comfortable, and it wasn't a big investment. So thank you, Mayor, for telling us that. Our engine is being repaired, parts just came in. I stand for any questions.
Thank you, sir. Public Works. Mr. Storga. All the good news.
Mayor, Board of Trustees. Just a few updates on some projects. Got some stuff going around town. The Calle of Santiago Bridge is, I'm gonna say about, I'm gonna put it to 60% already. They've already put in all the utilities from Arroyo to Calle Picacho. All we're waiting on is testing, so that way we can connect to our main lines and start smoothing out the road and getting that paved up and with the sidewalks and everything connected. The Calle de Santiago project, that one is about, well, I'm gonna say 85% finished. They already made the sidewalk down from Avenida to San Albino, all the way brick. They took it apart, recurved it with the same color and put the brick down. And they're gonna make some minor adjustments, and we still need to go back and fill it with the crusher pipe that needs to be there. I've been down to University and talking to the guys over there at University with Nicholas, the head of Calaverita there, and their main focus for the next 8 weeks is going to be from in front of Zia to the Narrow. So they're going down, putting down the storm drains on both sides, adding the curbing already, doing the electrical crossings underground from the poles to Zia, and doing all that work within that time span there, because they wanted that area free for the beginning of school and not to make it more, that crazy as it is already right now. So that's what's going on there. That'll be their focal point before they, jump back to where they're headed east on that. And headed east, all the power poles have been already moved over. All they're waiting for is just the telecommunication stuff to also get moved over. But that's a process. Again, thank you for the purchase requisition for the well. We wanted to get that addressed as soon as we could. And as soon as they let us know what goes on with it tomorrow, we'll move on so that way we can get that up and running, and we just are not relying on our second well to do all the work right now. And now to the drainage problems that we've been hearing about, and we've been hearing about them for a few weeks, and I know that I've spoken about it, and we did today, well, the last 3 days actually, we did I brought in Southwest Environmental Tech, Henry and the staff were over here helping us. So we did pull up the crates and we're cleaning that out, and did have to camera it, flushed it out, cameraed it, and couldn't find a problem till today, where we did encounter a problem on our part, which we're gonna go ahead and was a sewer line that is broken. That is actually dumping into the storm drain, so that is what is causing
Oh,
the
okay.
leak and stuff that's going on. But I mean, it happens. We don't know how those pipes are, but we will be in there getting that remedied as fast as we can, so that odor will hopefully blow out into the wind. And it has been. We have been getting lots. I know the fire department, codes, myself, town hall, we've all been dealing with those calls, but, we've got into the source and remedy here within the next couple of weeks. And then I'll stand by for questions.
I mostly have a comment. The sidewalk improvements in Calle Santiago are greatly appreciated. It makes a vast difference walking in that area. To have a smoother surface. Yes.
You also had your drinking water report.
Oh yeah, I was able to submit my drinking and water annual report last week, hoping to get a quick response on it, and I did get a quick response on it, and we are fully approved, and that will be going out to the residents here before July the 1st.
Good stuff there. I just also want to add in because as I noted that I was on vacation last week, so when I came back, I know that Dorothy had some funding left that she needed to use up for some plants, and I know Lorenzo and the team went out and got a whole bunch of plants. So back in the courtyard, waiting to be put into the park, really into that area as that project moves along a little bit more, we'll see a little bit more of that foliage in there, and there's some beautiful plants that have been chosen out there. So I can't wait to see that kind of that whole project fully come together. It's great. So thank you for that. Come. Economic development, Mr. Salazar, you're already up.
Yeah, I have, the ongoing projects that I've been working on the first one's record management. We did have a meeting last week with a gentleman that we have met when we went to Taos, New Mexico. I believe I mentioned this last time, but we actually did have a meeting with him, and he is from Microfiche, and my understanding there are 2 scanners here to scan documents and submit it to records, but the account that we have with Microfiche has expired or something happened there. I don't think we renewed. My understanding, we used to have a contract with them. We haven't renewed the contract, but we do have access to all the records that we're scanning. I believe it goes into the cloud. So I guess my searching for where are all these records at, where's everything at? Hopefully we found where most of them are at, so we can get that put together, and he will be contacting us whenever we're ready to he would more than willing to come down and do a proposal, a quote on going through our records, our physical records, scanning them all into the cloud, shredding them afterwards, and get us back on our feet and on track with our record management. And I think that's great news. I believe not just for us, but obviously also for any department that would need that to happen. Lodgers tax. I haven't done a follow up with Airbnb, but the Lodgers tax, we are doing in-house investigation as far as going through the last 2 years, who's been submitting these lodgers tax submissions. And then once we put that together, and once I do a follow-up with the Airbnb and these other platforms, we will be proposing some sort of standard operating procedure of some sort to where we can get again on track with lodgers tax and any fees that haven't or have been submitted. We'll do that when that time comes. Alcohol and cannabis licenses is due for renewal at the end of this month on the 30th. We're working on sending out the notices to make sure that the businesses do remind them that that needs to get submitted. Along with that, we do have a discussion with My Civic or My Messia in the sense to also discuss about possibly instead of sending them reminders of renewal, maybe sending them invoices similar to like a bill. That way, they know exactly every business whenever they renew, they know they have to pay parking fees, they have to pay alcohol, whatever that case may be. So also with My Messia is we're working on a lot of the permit process and the way they apply and the way they submit their applications. I've already gotten two applications via online. When they fill them out online, I'm like, it gives you a warning, possible spam, those kind of things. Like, I don't want to click on it. But as I looked at it, I thought it just looks a little different. We might have to make some changes there. It doesn't ask for like emails, address, or anything like that. So, but it is nice that people are hopefully continue to use that method, which is a lot easier. Not only easier, but it saves a lot of time. The comprehensive plan with Danielle, we're working with her, trying to wrap that up. I believe we have a meeting on Wednesday next week to kind of review some of the things that she has to talk about. She said that I'm not sure if you got a chance to look at that, Mayor. But yeah, so that's exciting also as well. And other than that, COG, I mean, we're also working out. I mean, Yana's working very hard on this. We're getting closer and closer to putting that together. So can't wait to put it up to the board because that's a long time coming. So I'm excited about that. I'll stand by for any questions.
Good stuff. Thank you. Finance. It's Maya.
Just we're working toward closing the year and beginning the new year. I don't know if they're happy, but last day for spending is this Friday. So I don't know if they're happy. I know Greg isn't. But that's what we're working on. And on a sad note, insurance came in at 20.2% higher than last year.
My God.
And we only budgeted 18%. So we'll have to be working on that and get that all squared away.
So we'll have some other adjustments to figure out.
Another one.
But the preliminary budget was submitted.
Yes.
And so we're waiting on the final full approval of all of that. So kind of a good step in the right direction, one way or the other. Any other questions or anything for the staff? Trustee Nevada's.
I don't have anything.
Trustee Johnson Burek.
We have, the only thing I have is we have an MPO meeting this Wednesday at 1 p.m. in the Board of County Commissioners.
Thank you. Mayor Pro Tem.
Same as Trustee Johnson Burek. We have MPO, and other than that, I don't have anything.
Okay. Hold on. I was on vacation, but I'm still working. Not that crazy. All right. I won't be at MPO, just so that you all know that, because I do have a conflict because I'm giving a talk at the New Mexico Tourism Department's town hall at the convention center alongside Senator Hamblin. So we'll be doing a little conversation there. And as part of that, and then I'll be meeting with the tourism department here at the Taylor site to do a walkthrough, as well as through the project again there at the park and all the interconnectivity that we have there. On Wednesday, let's see, we do I do have a municipal league board meeting in Santa Fe on Thursday, which I probably will not be able to attend due to other conflicts here and needing to be taken care of. But I'll see about that. And then I have a leadership Las Cruces talk with Las Cruces Chamber of Commerce on Friday. But other than that, I just want to say that, you know, I was out on vacation and while I still had my phone and still helped residents and everything there to where it was needed and had emails going back and forth. I want to say that the team, we have an absolutely amazing team here at the town. And they take care of everything, you know. So I extend a sincere thank you and appreciation to every single one of you for the hard work that you do, and it doesn't go unnoticed. So thank you. And with that, if there are no other questions or any other comments, I will call this meeting as adjourned here at 7:21.
We have a public hearing tomorrow.
Oh, yes, sorry. Thank you. Real quick before we do we do have a public hearing tomorrow for our Municipal Ordinance Jurisdiction Committee. And that will be held here in the Mesilla Town Hall. Awesome. Thank you, Trustee Johnson Bjork, for that reminder. Great. Thank you all. Appreciate it.